Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back to The Naked Truth. Oh my gosh, I think it's been about 3 weeks since I last did an episode. And I'm so excited to be here. So The Naked Truth is where we get to talk about and reveal the truths of life, the things that keep us separate, keep us segregated, keep us ashamed, and the things that we keep in secrecy, and the things that if we only spoke into and spoke more about would actually help us, heal us, and connect us. Oh, I'm so excited for today's guest. It is the incredible Jessica Palmer. If you haven't heard of this angel, she inspires the fuck out of me, and she's waiting on here now, and I'll get to her in a second. But I really want to presence how incredible this amazing human is. So when I first met Jessica, it was at a Soul Sister session by the amazing Eloise McBride on the Gold Coast, and she brought along her little humans whilst she was very, very heavily pregnant. And we walked through bushland, we sat on the beach. She literally created space for herself. Not only that, but she's also a working mama. She's a new mum now, obviously. She has an incredible podcast called Practically Spiritual. She's a personal development specialist and a breakthrough coach. And I'm going to grab her on here. Hey, Krishla. I'm going to grab her on here so that she can come on and introduce herself, because she is absolutely amazing. Her mission is to create collective change through conversation and remarkable transformational experiences.
Hello.
Oh my God.
Feeding a baby at the same time. She's losing it.
Can I just say, this is what I love about you. I love the fact that you're so real and you're so raw and you're so honest and totally transparent, because I know that I work with a lot of women and a lot of the things I hear are from mums who say that they don't have time to do things, or they, it's not a priority for themselves, or there's something. And I love the fact that you have made the space to jump on here today and you're feeding your little one. Like, no excuse. I love all that you be, and I love all that you are.
That's how I roll.
Oh,
thank you so much.
Amazing. Oh,
thank you so much.
Here.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be on here. See if baby Nessie. Last time you saw me, I mean, she was in my tummy.
Yeah, I know.
And now she's here.
I know she's here. I know. And that's one of the other things that I know that I've spoken to you about, or I mentioned to you before, is I was so inspired by you when I first met you that day, and you had your little ones in tow and you were still hanging out with all your friends and doing the things, and you just haven't let that stop you from doing what you are really passionate about and what you need as a human being and as a mother. It's so inspiring.
Oh, thank you so much. I was thinking today, last night actually, okay, how can I be of value in this conversation today? Because I'm obviously very passionate about maternal leadership, about helping people break through. And what really came to me is, okay, so it's all about creating your own points of reference, all about creating your own points of reference. So many of us have, oh, you're right, Bubba? So as you can see, I'm unapologetically, I'm just going to feed my baby. I'm going to take my baby. I literally bring her to coaching sessions. People love it. Yeah, I use her as a distraction when people start crying. Like, it's great. But yes, so points of reference is the thing that really came through for me. Is how we act as mothers. And the amount of the permission that we give ourselves is usually based on our points of reference of motherhood. So that'll be from your own mum, maybe your aunties, and now I guess perhaps what you see online. which most of the time what you see online is with my children, and you don't really see the chaos, which kind of pisses me off, which is why I originally, when I first
Yes. Mm. 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 Totally. Yes. Wow. Mm. Mm. Yes. Mm. 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 Yes. Mm. Wow. Wow. Mm. Totally. Wow. Mm. So beautiful. Mm.
Hopefully you can still hear me. But my mother had started stepping into this state of grief because the life that she had planned for her child was not this life. And every mother has
Mm.
a beautiful life, these expectations. So when that doesn't happen, we then have to, we drop into a state of not just shock, but of grief. So seeing her reconcile, attempting to reconcile with comprehending what has just happened, what her son has just done, what this now means for our family. One of the most hated people in Australia at the time, and still there's obviously lots of hate. And to be honest, there was even a moment in which he had attempted to take his life during it, and I genuinely wished that.
Mm. Mm.
Now lost a mother. This 3-year-old girl lost her mother, and then her and at first it was obviously a lot to take on, but what it taught me is really maternal leadership. Accessing your maternal leadership is where you can access the deepest levels of unconditional love, the deepest levels of resilience when you access your maternal leadership. So they became my references. Yes. Thank you so much, sister. Thank you. So they became my references, and I'm like, okay, well, what am I learning here? At first I was just like, I'm going to be strong for everybody. And then I just began to basically fall apart. And then I was still in this state of survival mode, in that state of survival mode, trying to be like, everything's fine. We're all going to get through this. And I was also I am the mediator between the two families. So, every second weekend, I would see someone from that family, and I could see the pain and the hurt that they would be feeling because of the actions of someone that I loved killing someone else that we both loved. So I had all these different points of reference, and I thought, okay, what does this all mean? Like, what do I want for my life? And I was kind of really wallowing a lot in, I guess you would say, feeling like everything was happening to me and not for me. So I was totally stuck in the pity party, in being a victim, So I realized that I needed to create my own points of reference if I wanted to step into who I wanted to become, not just as a mother, but as a person. And I realized that how I nourish myself is actually how I nourish everyone, how I nourish my children, how I nourish my relationship, how I nourish my relationship with my parents. And really, I
Mm.
Yeah, something that just really hit me is seeing my parents as actual people.
Mm.
Create my own references
Mm.
for motherhood.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that so much. There's so many things
So that
that,
was really, and the start of my journey. Mm.
keep going.
Oh, sorry, I lost you. I just disconnected for a second. What were you saying?
I was just saying that there's so many things that you've presenced that I feel can become such pressures and maybe even shames and secrecies for mothers and
Mm,
families, even fathers. But this is the reality of life and the reality of the journey by the
yeah.
sounds. I mean, I'm not a mother, but I have witnessed
Mm,
so many women who experience all these things and feel isolated and separated and alone because they don't feel like they can speak into, or they don't know how to navigate, or they didn't expect all
mm,
this, or they just have so much on their plate. And I really love that you're speaking into all of this, because this is what I love about you, the realities of it all. You speak and you live and you
yes.
literally wear them on your sleeve for everyone to see because you own them so beautifully.
And for me, with my second child, for some silly reason, well, it's not, I truly
Mm.
experiencing intense fatigue plus already experiencing anxiety and depression. And I had a lot of other things happen with my
Mm.
husband and his friends. It put me into postnatal depression. So I also know deeply what it's like
Mm.
to be in that state, and I can really understand how parents can snap and do things that they, not just
Mm.
raising their voice, but act in a way that's not actually in alignment with who they are, with who they truly
Mm.
are meant to be. So
Mm.
I understand that, and I try to be as compassionate and loving as
Mm.
possible. And I think by speaking my truth, that I always feel that even if it's just one person that's like, cool, like, Jess, thank you so much. Like, now I can speak my truth. That just lights me up, because that wasn't really what I set out to do originally with my blog. I knew I was going to step into
Mm.
coaching eventually, but it just kind of happened. Yeah.
Mm. And so, how did you use all of that? Because I, by the sounds of it, each birth and each child of yours has also been a different journey as well. And so,
Mm.
how did you manage the you not losing yourself, or you having this desire or this connection or this feeling inside of you, plus motherhood? Because you've gone into personal development and you've gone into NLP and lots of different other things like coaching and whatnot. How did you make the transition and even get to the stage where it was okay for you to make that transition into choosing you and
Mm.
choosing this thing that was on your heart as well as being a mother?
That's such a great question. That's such a great question. Thank you. So once Selena, who's my 2-year-old, once she was about 9 months, I was just actually suffering with a lot of health problems. I had like tendonitis to the point where I just genuinely, in my head, I was always telling myself like that I am weak. So I basically manifested that in my body. So I got to the point where my wrists were so weak from tendonitis that I couldn't turn on a tap. Like I couldn't open a jar. Like I had to ask for help. And I just felt so frustrated and felt so weak. And I was like, I'm already feeling alone. And now I'm feeling frustrated. And I started to get to the point with my depression where it was literally, it was a choice where it was either check out or change. That is where I was at. And, you know, with every child, to be honest, if they hadn't been, you know, come into my life, I don't know if I would be here. And that's why I'm, you know, so grateful for the gift of life that, yes, I've given them life, but I feel that they've given me life too. Because if they weren't there, I'm not too sure how I would have actually continued to persevere. That's what it's in love. That's what it is. So it got to the point where my health was just in just like such a freaking schmozzles. And she just wouldn't, I couldn't stop breastfeeding her. She was very clingy and attached to me because I was so traumatized that my trauma had kind of been passed on to her. So she's very like, you know, on me. She wouldn't go to anyone. She wouldn't even go to my husband, you know, like for like literally 9 months. So yeah. Now she's very social and loves everybody, but it's been a journey. So I got to the point where I had to actually spend time. You know, I think I spent about it was only like 5 days, but I had to spend time away from my child so that I could stop breastfeeding her and allow my body to return back to me. So that's another thing. One, creating your own references, but finding ways for your body to return back to you, because we get so stuck in our body being of service because we're feeding a child, we're carrying a child, like we're just, you know, we're recovering from carrying a child. And, you know, the struggle is real. You know, the toll it takes on your body is so very real. So I had to have iron infusions, I had to be away from my child. And I was like, my health is so bad right now that I need to do something about it. And, you know, I even was like, I was seeing a psychologist, but I was like, I need to radically do things. I need to take radical action so that I can get radical results, because I just couldn't keep living my life this way. It was not serving me. And to be honest, you know, answering your question is I did lose myself. And I'm not sure I even knew who I was to begin with before I became a mum. I'm not sure I actually knew. Yeah. And then it got even more confusing when I did have children because I felt like I should know. Pardon? Okay, sorry, I have a sick child. I'm just going to be, again, mum live. Can we please come back in literally 2 minutes? Yeah. I'm just going to take my sick child to the toilet.
Perfect. Okay, you do what you need to do. I'm going to sit here and talk to everyone.
I'll be back.
And perfect.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Thank you.
And so I really want to literally, this is this woman, and this is what I love so dearly about her. This is life, and this is the reality of life. We sit here and we look at the screens and we see what's going on just from the screen. We see all the good stuff, some of the bad stuff, or some of the messy stuff, some of the realities, but we don't see it all because we don't welcome it all in work. And one of the things that I've really noticed over the past for a long time now, actually, to be honest, is we have this like sense of professionalism that we feel we need to uphold. and it has to be in a certain way, and we can't show our mess, and we can't show our vulnerabilities, or we can't, it's this image, and it's bullshit. And this is what I love. I love that Jess is doing this, because this is the reality of life, and we get to work and live and have it be exactly the same. We get to have a life that is, that we don't have to separate our personal life from. We get to have work where we don't have to separate our personal life from. It gets to all be the same, and we get to actually bring it forward if we want to, of course. But you know, the thing that I've noticed with women is, that I have worked with in the past, is that it can create so many more stories and everything around it. And so I love that Jess is doing this right now. And guys, if you have any questions for Jess as we go, please feel free to drop them in the comment box below. I know that she would absolutely love to answer them. And you're not the only one who navigates these things. You know, it can be hard. I'm not a mum myself, but I know how hard it is for myself as a solo human being to navigate my own stuff and work, let alone having a family and bringing it. I honestly am so inspired by this woman. I can't even imagine. Like, it just is so inspiring for me coming into a stage of motherhood to see how I get to do life as well. So yeah, I love it. I'm just raving on about how much I love what you do, and
so
I love
beautiful.
the fact that this is presented in this
That's
space.
so beautiful.
So thank you.
It's so beautiful. And it gets me so excited, because I get these comments so often, that, you know, you're inspiring me, that like, that I can just go back to work, or I can do this, or I can do that, whatever it is. And that just makes me so happy, because I didn't have that I didn't have that intention. That was just me being me, doing what I felt was right for me. I didn't realize it was such a big deal, that it would have an impact on people, that people would notice that, and they would go, okay, cool, like this is actual. I can run a business. And to be honest, to Vanessa, who's now 11 weeks,
Wow.
you know, whatever feels good for you.
Totally.
Business course that I did, and I took my baby with me, and I thought everyone was going to be like, oh my god, like, and the facilitator might go, why'd you bring a baby? And I thought to myself, well, I'm not going to stop myself from actually having the opportunity to learn and to grow because I have a baby, because I brought a life into this world. Why should that?
Totally. Totally. Georgina's just said your reception keeps cutting out. So I'd love to know if that's uh, so let me see. I'm going to move, Georgina. I'm going to go for a little walk and see if it's mine, and see if I can move it around a little bit. And I'll see if Jess can maybe have a little movie around a bit as well. The joys of life. Let's just see if this will work. So, guys, can you just let us know if that's a little bit better? And we'll see how we go from there. Well, let's try. Oh, we've lost her completely. Hopefully she gets to jump back on. Oh, how amazing is this woman? I really would love to know if you guys have any questions for Jess. I love how she gets to create her own days, how they go, and I'm really intrigued. I know for myself, I've had a perception of motherhood, like Jess was speaking about in the beginning, of how it should be. And mine was, and this was for me, this was my story, is I can't have children, I can't have a family because I love my work so much, because I do love my work so much. And I remember last year, actually, I was speaking to a lady and she said to me, do you have children? Do you want children? And because I love children so much. And I remember saying to her, I would be happy if I don't have children. If I do have children, fantastic. And if I don't, I'm happy as well, because I love my work so much. And since now being around Jess and a few other people who I've also seen do parenting this way, it really has allowed me to really shift that perception. You know, you can go camping, you can go on holidays yearly. Your lifestyle doesn't have to change in the way that I thought it did anyway. So I'll just see if Jess is jumping back on. Hopefully, here we go. Let's see if we can jump her on. Here we go. Let's try this one. Adding. I feel like this is a really, really important conversation, because I know that I also have a lot of mums who follow. Yay, that's better.
Yay, it's better.
Amazing.
Thank you. Sorry about that. I think it's the reception is just not working for me today.
That's okay. All good. Realities of life. So, Jess, I'd really love to know, what does a day for you look like?
Okay, so first of all, it's ever evolving and changing. When I did go through my transformation, which happened towards the end of 2017, around November 2017, what I began to do was I began to get really clear on what my routine looked like, because I needed to find a way to create the condition for myself to be present as a mum and to fill my own cup. So at the moment, it's evolving and changing, because the baby is sleeping longer, having different, she's only 11 weeks old. But regularly, what it actually looks like is getting up at 4:30 in the morning. So that is something that changed my life. I think everyone should give it a try. You don't have to do it forever. But I think if you really want to see radical results happen in your life, get up at 4:30. Like, there's actually a reason why monks get up at like 3 a.m. So you don't have to get up that time. But I would get up at kind of 4:30 a.m. I would spend an hour. So from 4:30 to 5:30, I would spend an hour deep in either meditation or even if it was watching Netflix or exercising or reading a book or whatever it was, something that was helping me to just feel happy, to nourish my mind and my soul. So I'd spend a whole hour, which was just all about me. It's all about me. Then I would spend the next hour. The next hour would be about preparing for work as what I call a professional mama, even before I started my coaching business. So I believe that being a mum, I like to treat it as a profession. So it's like I'm getting ready for work, because my children would normally get up around 6:30, right? So what I'm doing is I'm getting up 2 hours before they wake up, spending an hour on myself and then an hour in preparation, doing my washing, doing all of the things, having a shower, feeding myself, making sure I actually have had breakfast. And so then when the children woke up, I was literally like, it's like I'm like
ready.
clocking in. I'm clocking into good morning. Like I'm here. I'm ready. That was something that I just consistently did basically up until until having the baby. But that is the best way to start your day as a mother, especially if you're someone that is ambitious and that is wanting to achieve a lot of things in your life. So then I would feed the children, get them ready, and 3 days a week. So 2 days a week I have just full mum life days, but 3 days a week are my working days, which is when the older two go to kindy. So then I would drop them off to kindy around 9ish, and then from 9 to 10 is like I'll go get a coffee for myself, and one other thing I want to put in there is I would also stop and celebrate each milestone that I would achieve when it was feeling a bit crazy. So when I got the kids in the car, I would stop and take a moment and close my eyes and take a deep breath and be like, you're amazing, you got the kids in the car. Then I would back out of the driveway, head to kindy, drop them off, and then I would be like, stop as soon as I got there before I got the kids out. I'm like, you're amazing, you got the kids to kindy. Because, it is a full process. Wow. Getting the children, feeding, washing, getting you in the car. And then when I would drop them off into kindy and then come back into the car, I would again take that moment to go, you're amazing, you drop the kids to kindy, now you get to have a coffee. Like I felt like I'm like telling myself like you're amazing, like you get to reward yourself, like you're doing a great job. So celebrating these, for me, getting the kids to kindy is a milestone. So it's kind of changing what we feel is a milestone, redefining what that looks like, because wins don't always have to be these big grandiose things. They can be these small little moments, and those are the moments where you're probably feeling stretched when you're a parent. So then so drop them off, and then from 10 to 2 is work time, where I'm laser focused, and I have something which is called time zoning that I do, where I'm very strategic in what I do, as you can probably tell. And I block out the time into 3 different blocks. So when I'm in those blocks, they're kind of called like a zone. So each zone has a specific name. So it might be like, I might go, okay, that's my coaching blueprint, which is one of my programs. That might be all that time is spent on that. Or it might literally be like home duties. Like I'll categorize things. Instead of having a massive to-do list, I'll just choose 3 different things and put them into categories and then break them down. So then in those zones, in those little time zones, I just drop in and I'm like, I'm in that zone. I'm not allowed to get into that zone or this zone because I'm in this zone. So I need to stay and be laser focused. So that's how I actually, if everyone's wondering how the hell does she get all this stuff created and done, that is what I do. I'm very strategic about my time. And reminding myself, also trying to focus on letting myself know that I have an abundance of time. It's all around how I prioritize and how I'm feeling into that time.
Yeah, so, I love that so much.
Yeah.
So much. One of the things that I love that as well, because I feel like a lot of the stuff that we can do work-wise, it can be so predominantly poured into 2 to 4 hours a day, and then the rest of the time gets to be whatever else. Like we can actually achieve what it is, like the pivotal moments, the pivotal things that we need to get done in that space. So I love that you've presenced that. Love it. So I'd love to know how you found navigating work with parenthood, or has there been challenges, and have you wanted to quit, and have you felt guilty, and how has it been for you?
I would say all of the things. So it's constantly like it is a dance. It's constantly evolving and flowing. So I think the biggest thing is for me. I remember years and years ago, a company that I worked for, the territory manager said to me she was talking about leadership, and she said, when you are yourself at all times, when you get promoted and you're yourself, and then you get promoted again and you're yourself, people are more connected to you and they will listen to you and respect you. So I always remembered that. And I try to kind of live like an authentic life, which isn't just about being real and honest. I think it's about understanding that it's all a part of my life, that it's not something that I do, that this is all aligned. This is all me doing me. That it's all just a part of my lifestyle. Like, this is how I live my life. It's not I'm this person or that person. Like, I'm just the mum, just the business person. That I found a way to completely integrate it, to really integrate and understand that I can be me and have clear standards. Having standards is a big thing because that helps you understand how to operate in life. But having standards that aren't just standards for my friendships or standards for my relationship, standards for being a parent, standards for work, they're actually standards that carry across everything that I do and everything that I be. So creating standards that represent exactly who you want to be and the life you want to live, that should carry across everything that you do. That's going to make life a lot easier, because otherwise you're going to have to keep transitioning into the worker, the mum. Like, that's exhausting. Like, who wants to constantly be transitioning all the time? And I think a lot of people experience.
I feel like we've lost her again. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe it's me. Can you guys still hear me? Can you let me know if you're watching, please? um, I love what Jess was saying before, and I totally agree with it. And it's one of the things that is I've noticed is a life changer for me as well, and many women that I've seen, because we play these different hats and these different roles. And sometimes these different roles have different standards and different expectations. And okay, so Jess has just said her phone's overheating. So what we will do is we'll leave it there and we'll connect back in with Jess another time. As you can see, she is the most amazing and inspiring human being as a mama, as a human, as a woman. I have nothing but admiration and inspiration for this woman. And I would love nothing more than for you to stalk her, for you to follow her, for you to connect in with her. I know that Jess has a few things going on at the moment, which are super exciting. Again, she's got an amazing podcast called Spiritually Awakened, I think it is. No, Practically Spiritual. Totally got that wrong. Practically Spiritual. So look it up. I've popped her details in the comment section below as well. Hey, Lulu. But if you feel drawn to her and drawn to know more about her and what she does, and if you feel you resonate on some level with Jess, I implore you to go creep on her, go check her out. She is totally open. As you can see, she's so transparent to motherhood and humaning and womaning and all these things, and how to do it all, how she does it all, how she believes she can create what she wants and how she wants it to go. And she is the most honest and authentic person, as you can see. And she, I know, would be delighted to answer any questions, or even just to simply hear your story about what you have going on and how you're navigating your stuff, and just sharing stories and journeys together. So I've popped her details in the comment section. I will also pop them up in the link as well. You get to follow her, you get to creep on her. She's an amazing human being. If you're on the Gold Coast, I know she does events on the Gold Coast as well, so keep an eye out for that. And she also has a podcast as well. There's her Instagram, there's all the things. You can find her everywhere. And I'll pop all those details in the comments and in the info as well. She said, love you all and thank you for listening. She's amazing, absolutely amazing. Oh my gosh, I could talk to her for ages. Ah, love her so much. I mean, am so inspired by her, obviously. And yeah, I invite you to connect in with this incredible human being. If you feel something inside of you shift as you have listened to this, follow that. So beautiful, so magical. There is something there for you with that. Thank you so much, Jess, for joining. I absolutely am so honored that you came on and shared your wisdom, and I love you so much. And I'm so grateful that I get to share this space with you as well. And so, so, so honored. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And if you've just jumped on, jump back and watch the replay. I love you all. If you have any questions for Jess, drop them in the comments below, and I'll talk to you all soon. Thank you for joining.